What up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Corner Podcast. Kel and Andreas here with the old man Andreas Hale, coming at you again, packed combat sports week. At least we get the week off for MMA. Don't worry, though. Tons of pro wrestling to talk about today. If you guys haven't checked out our boxing episode from Tuesday, please go do that. Shout out to everyone on Patreon for checking out the video there and for signing up for the Corner Club episode part 2. We are recording next week. There's still, I think, 3 spots are taken. I'm trying to get 4. So if you want one more, sign up on Patreon. If you don't get in this cycle, we'll get you next month as well, making sure the Patreon people are still fed. You guys are the best. So we'll be recording that one next week. Dre, there's 2 wrestling events. One I just found out about going on this weekend. AEW Double or Nothing is here in Vegas. So I've had like blinders on about AEW, caught up on tons of stuff, watched Dynamite live with volume this week on the big TV, made sure I was locked into that. And Collision is going to be taped here. So we still, even though we had the go home show already, have another show. And then WWE on their way to Saudi Arabia for King and Queen of the Ring. So we'll talk about that. Those tournaments conclude. And finally, we could kind of get off of this weird like malaise of Backlash and King of the Ring. And then it picks up again because it's Money in the Bank into SummerSlam. And we get like a nice little picture going through the summer. I want to start with AEW though. We'll get to all the WWE stuff towards the end. AEW, I watched it all now. I've caught up. A lot of people have a lot of gripes about the current product of AEW. And not numbers of how they're doing things. A lot of the things we kind of talked about on this show already, but it's weird to see so many people now who would be categorized as their core audience complaining about the current product. And I don't think it's that bad. It's still top heavy, but they've been top heavy. My biggest thing is people are talking as though they're regressing. To me, if you liked it 2 years ago, if you liked it 3 years ago, they're kind of giving you the same thing. The people complaining now just had blinders on back then. It was a honeymoon phase. And they ignored the lack of development in the women's division. And then they ignored the tag team division being a little misused. It was used more as a tool than it was to highlight this amazing tag team division. And then maybe some of the young stars getting pushed out as they kept adding new stars. Those were always the 3 gripes I could say you could have with AEW. That shit hasn't changed. That's exactly what they're doing now. But people seem to be much louder and much more annoyed at the product. But I'm not talking about the death to AEW. Look at these numbers. It's not gonna collapse. Like they're fine in that department. But they're saying like WWE is taking back a lot of AEW's core fans because the core fans just wanted good wrestling. But now there's no story to go with it, and WWE's wrestling is elevated.
It's interesting, man. I can see both sides of it. For one, I would actually say that the quality of wrestling in AEW is actually improved somehow over the past 2-3 years. Like we've had Ospreay versus Danielson.
Yeah.
We've had some great wrestling out of this company over the past like year. Swerve Hangman death match. Like they've delivered some absolutely great wrestling matches. But the same thing applies that applied when this company first started. How we get there. That's always been the thing. And I think there is all right, here's where we'll start. I have a problem with AEW not necessarily identifying what their biggest shows are, right?
Okay.
Because I'm not saying you gotta have a big 4 like WWE, which is really a big 3. But you gotta tell people Double or Nothing is like your WrestleMania, whatever it is supposed to be, right? If people can identify it and you treat it as such, because all the pay-per-views now at AEW, the problem is they kind of run into each other.
Yeah, a little bit. It's close.
They're not like, so you have Double or Nothing. We just had Dynasty. We know what Forbidden Door is.
Yeah.
We know what All Out is. And then it's like just a bunch of pay-per-views that are kind of the same, except that the names are different.
I mean,
right?
All In is right after All Out, right? So it's one of those things where at least they split it 2 weeks, just announced that. But
Yeah.
is 2 weeks enough? Because then
Well,
you
it's
have the
not.
yearly New York show.
Well, this is my issue. My point is like, you know what WrestleMania is, the culmination of everything in WWE.
Yeah.
You know what SummerSlam is. It's like the biggest event since WrestleMania that focuses on the summer and reheating new storylines. And we know that from SummerSlam until Royal Rumble, there's that lull, right? But we know what it is because Survivor Series has not really picked up the momentum it once had.
Mm.
And then there's Royal Rumble. And you know, Royal Rumble begins the road to WrestleMania. So those are your events that if I had to go, hey man, where's The Rock gonna wrestle? He's gonna wrestle at WrestleMania or
Yeah.
SummerSlam or the Royal Rumble. In AEW, you don't really know which shows are the biggest shows because the only thing different between these shows is the name. Full Gear, Revolution. It doesn't look different. There isn't really a match that makes it different. Double or Nothing has Anarchy in the Arena. That's become their staple, right? And it becomes their main event. But outside of that, there aren't identifying features for these pay-per-views so people can go, hey, man, the biggest match of the year should happen at this event. You feel like it's at Wembley now where some of the biggest event matches are going to happen. But where do you put Double or Nothing? If Double or Nothing, which is their 5th anniversary show, is supposed to be their WrestleMania, it sure the hell doesn't feel like it heading into this show, right?
No, I think this is more of like maybe their SummerSlam.
But they haven't identified it.
They haven't. But now with the current slate, this has to be maybe not in SummerSlam. This is like the start for them. So it'd be like the Royal Rumble, I guess, Survivor Series, where, okay, stuff really starts to be played out. Maybe you have a new champion trying to identify himself and really make his reign really good over the summer, like Swerve, who gets the belt right before it. And this is kind of the beginning of, okay, we're ramping up. And then you go Forbidden Door, which is a huge pay-per-view, because it's like, all right, it's us versus them. That's kind of like their Survivor Series if it came after Royal Rumble. So this is Royal Rumble. Forbidden Door would be their Survivor Series, another big pay-per-view. And then you go and, all right, we're telling stories and we're going and building towards what is our WrestleMania in London. But then that makes All In like their backlash, and then we're done. Then we can experiment. Then we do whatever the fuck. Then there's Winter is Coming and all the other revolutions and all that shit that just takes them through the winter. And then you get back to Double or Nothing and you go. So it's only like a 6-month block. They have all their, not even 4, they have all their biggest pay-per-views in a 4-month block, which then leaves you a little bit fucked up for the other 8 months. The spacing's not great. All In might have to move. I understand it's been their thing in Chicago for all that time, but you kind of damn near got to make that like Halloween Havoc. Just take that October weekend and be like, that's where All In's going to be. Because you need that separation if London's going to be this big every single year.
And that's my concern. Like, Double or Nothing, I feel like, was hurt by Dynasty. They did Dynasty, which is a pay-per-view that came out of nowhere, right? They crowned Swerve the champion. And now you only have like a 4-week build to Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
Which has been very obvious if you've watched the product. You spend a lot more time on Willow and Mercedes than you have with Swerve being the champion, which makes Swerve not feel like the most important part of this pay-per-view, even though he's the champion. He feels like the third most important part of this pay-per-view because Anarchy Arena closes Dynamite this week, basically. Willow and Mercedes, for obvious reasons, has been gotten a lot of focus, but we haven't had enough time to spend with Swerve and Christian to really make this feud feel like it should be headlining your anniversary show. And it's a really good match, and they've done well in the 4-week window that they've had to build it. But even you can't even really justify Christian getting this opportunity.
No, there's no rhyme or reason.
I love the match, but all you really had to do was have Christian win a match at Dynasty to set him up as a number 1 contender, right? And then or even beat somebody that's up there.
That's
right?
reputable. So you could be like, all right, cool.
I got momentum. Let's go. Right. But they haven't been able to do that because their pay-per-view structure is so haphazard that I don't know what your biggest event is. And Double or Nothing doesn't feel bigger than Dynasty. Dynasty just had Ospreay and Danielson. Ospreay and Danielson is a WrestleMania type match.
Yep.
It was at Dynasty. I ain't complaining because the match was incredible. But what's your match at Double or Nothing? Like, we know Anarchy in the Arena is going to be great. But even Anarchy in the Arena, when you look at it, you go, what's the story here?
Yeah.
Right? It's not a culmination of like a 4-month build. It's like Kingston's obviously hurt. Seems like he's going to be out until next year with his knee surgery. You got Danielson, which is just like, I just got off of this match with Ospreay. What am I doing now? I guess I'll fuck with the EVPs. And then, like, you're not really giving us the juice for this to feel significant. And that's my problem with this pay-per-view. I know the matches are going to deliver. I'm not concerned about that. We've said it for years. If you like, it's like New Japan. If you like wrestling, you can just turn it on and be like, 5-star matches. We know what we're getting. But the week-to-week product suffers because what are we building towards?
Yeah.
Why do you care? Why do I care? I feel like Swerve has done an excellent job as champion. He just hasn't had time to feel like he's headed. Because I feel like WrestleMania used to suffer from this as well. And I don't like to draw too many parallels between WWE and AEW because they're different products. But when you had a transitional champ get the title at like Elimination Chamber and then lose it at WrestleMania, it was like, so he just got the title. Whereas when somebody like Roman Reigns has like this extraordinarily long reign and Cody's challenging him at WrestleMania, it feels significant because we've had this build to get there. Swerve just fucking got this title. There's no chance he's losing it at Double or Nothing. You haven't even created a doubt in my mind that he's going to lose, right? Like, I think they have to do better with building that. And they have to create events that have, like, they don't need a Royal Rumble, right? Because that's obviously WWE's thing. I'm so glad they got rid of that stupid ass chip ladder match. That was stupid. But you do have to make something, right? Anarchy in the Arena is a Double or Nothing thing.
Yep.
You do have to create something that I don't know what it could be. You're gonna have to make something up. Shawn Michaels did a great job with like Elimination Chamber back in the day, right? TLC has always been this great thing. Money in the Bank. Shout out to Chris Jericho, who's the mastermind behind that.
Yep.
Created something that was like, you get this, and it kind of builds towards that.
Yeah.
AEW needs that. They don't have any of those events yet.
Even NXT now has like, it's like a weird, complicated model, but it's like their number one contender thing. I guess Abyss brought it from Impact, and it's like a great model of like, okay, and it's like, I don't know, it's called like Deadline or some shit, and like the numbers flash and everything means, and it's, you can get so many pins within that hour and whatever, and it's like a crazy, it's a scramble concept. And it was it's dope. I was like, cool. And then Justin, shout out to Justin and Rat Pack, like, oh, they took that from Impact. It's like, yeah, but that's great for NXT because you're not just recycling something from somewhere else. And then Impact was like, all right, fuck it. Impact has the 4 briefcases where it's like deal or no deal. So you don't know what is in each briefcase when someone wins it. And one person leaves the company. So one briefcase, you're asked out. So it's cool that that's that every year. It's like, yeah, they kind of need their own thing, and there's talented minds there to kind of figure it out of why are people getting these opportunities, because I guess I never even really thought about it till now. Pro wrestling, and it might be WWE brain, but pushes are determined by actual crowd interaction, not what you did before you got here. That's not to say they can't coincide. But you then have to make me believe that Christian, who is a heel, and it is Swerve's first babyface feud, did something to justify getting a shot at that title when crowd interaction-wise, Will Ospreay's the biggest thing in your company.
Yeah.
And he's going for a
different title.
Yeah. Like not even a secondary title, some other title. Why? Right. Because every time I see this guy come out and his music hits and he speaks, everyone listens, every single person. So not to say you got to calm him down, But you got to make me know why someone else is skipping him in line.
Yep.
Why is this? WWE, and we'll get to that in a second, did a good job of this last week of Jey Uso's red hot. And crowd interaction wise, you're like, fuck yeah. He should probably face Priest. Like, again, like he's working his way up there. He's the guy who should be at the top of the card. And then Gunther came through and choked his ass out. And it was like, well, now if Gunther challenges for something or wins King of the Ring, I get it. Because he just jumped him.
And they literally just announced that the winners of King and Queen of the Ring will be the challengers at SummerSlam.
Yep.
They're stakes.
So
you set it up.
I get it. I understand now why he could jump him. And this guy's the hottest guy, so you put him over. Even if the number one contenders match after that is Ospreay wins, like if it's Christian and Ospreay for a number one contenders match and Christian cheats to beat Ospreay, and you're like, well, that's why, because Ospreay was this close and Christian cut the line by cheating, but he got a win over someone who's huge. So now it makes sense. He goes for the title. There's none of that justification when you have other people who deserve a title shot more.
Yeah, I mean, it illuminates the problem. It's like, but that was my problem with the 4-week window to build to Double or Nothing. Like, you could have done Ospreay and Christian immediately, right? And at a number one contenders match, whatever you could have done. I think they made a lot of mistakes. They have too many belts. When they did their G1, their version of the G1 Classic, right?
Yep.
That should have culminated in their New Year's show. And the winner of that should be the number one contender at Double or Nothing. If you get through that grueling ass fucking tournament, like it shouldn't be for another belt. It should say, I'm the best. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wait a couple months because the problem is Double or Nothing is not until May. But I am set to challenge for the title at Double or Nothing.
Yep.
And maybe you could put your number one contendership on the line in the match against somebody or some shit like that. But the stakes need to be high because then people will go, oh, the New Year's show, I identified that with their version of the G1 Classic. The finals are here. The winner is going to be here. Now you have things that I can mark on my calendar. Now I have things as a fan, like this is kind of like the UFC, right? UFC hardcores, they watch everything. They watch Fight Night. They watch fucking every pay-per-view. But we know International Fight Week is their big one.
Yep.
We know it. There's no question. In Vegas, in July or late June this year, it's going to be probably their biggest card of the year. And if I'm a casual
Conor
fan,
McGregor, sir, it's their biggest card of the year.
If you're a casual fan, you circle that date.
Yep.
You don't circle 301, 30, you don't care about that shit. You know July is the one. You know Madison Square Garden in November. Oh, I'm going to that shit.
Yep.
It's going to be good. AEW hasn't identified that yet. It's the one thing I think that is truly holding them back. I think it would help them develop storylines better. Because if you say these are our 4 big shows or 3 biggest shows, then you go, injuries aside, you say, all right, well, Booker, if I'm booking Swerve before he gets the title, all right, I got 6 months to get him here.
Yep.
Here's that storyline. And fans can start thinking like, oh, shit, at the anniversary show, because I've always said I felt like Swerve should have won at Double or Nothing. It would have felt bigger. I get why they did it at Dynasty because it was like, well, what do we do for the next 8 weeks? That was always going to be the problem. But if they would have planned this out a little bit better, fans would have looked forward to Double or Nothing to crown Swerve as the champion. Fans looked forward to Cody winning at Royal Rumble. WrestleMania. They weren't looking for Cody to win at fucking Backlash. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have your big events. It has been their biggest detriment for a great product.
They got to space it out then. Because you also can't have your big 4 within 3.5 months.
You got to have
do it.
Like
Forbidden Door should go closer to Wrestle Kingdom.
I would say Forbidden Door is not one of your big shows. Forbidden Door is one of your special shows because it has that
shit in like just get it away from Double or Nothing.
Yeah, but
they start booking towards that too on television.
I think you could do Forbidden Door after Double or Nothing because it truly doesn't affect anything. It really does feel like, because like this year, they're going to use Stardom and CMLL.
Yeah.
So none of these wrestlers are going to really have anything to do with like main storylines. So you could do it 4 weeks later and it's just like a bunch of dream matches. Cool. In there, you can start building towards whatever your next big pay-per-view is, right? Like Forbidden Door is not one of your big ones. Forbidden Door is one of your special ones.
Yeah.
But you got to establish from September. Well, yeah, after All In and All Out, which I think you truly have to space out, like you said, they like one of them's got to go to November.
Something.
Like,
yeah.
London's got to stay in the summer because it's outdoors, Wembley.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yeah.
But then you take Chicago and you put that in November. All In, All Out, Double or Nothing, then maybe your New Year's or your Big Four. Now we know what we're working towards. You can sprinkle in a few pay-per-views here and there. And I think they've, in business, I guess it makes sense to do more pay-per-views. But in practice, like when AEW started, it was like quarterly. We only got 4 pay-per-views when they first started. Now it feels like there's like 10 this year. And they're like clustered together in the summer. And it just becomes a little bit too much. It becomes too much and it's hard to tell a story. So Double or Nothing, while this year I have no qualms about the in-ring. I'm just looking at some of the builds and I was like, could have done better.
I mean, I was asking around yesterday. I was like, yo, what's the indie shows for this weekend?
There ain't none.
None came out.
There's no GCW show.
That's a detriment because indie shows aren't missing SummerSlam or WrestleMania. If that's your big events.
That's a thing where I think they've kind of made a mistake where they had StarCast with Double or Nothing was smart because it was like, oh, we got this fan festival thing. Like WrestleMania has their access or now it's live, whatever the hell it's called this year that Fanatics got in on. You knew like, oh, I'm making a weekend out of this or like 5 days out of this. We're going to build events around this and independent shows are going to come to town to feed off of this crowd. Double or Nothing should have been that. But they haven't established anything else surrounding it. So GCW is like, we're just going to do our show where we do our show at.
Yeah.
Because
you're not bringing any extra eyes out.
Yeah. You're not surprising us with, like, we know this show is coming, but there's no juice behind it for us to bring our indie talent out there. We'll just do what we do and still fill our, 400 to 500 people to come watch these shows.
Yep.
So that's been like the problem because, like nobody's like running out to crowd Vegas for Double or Nothing. It'd have been great if they did like their StarCast indie shows and Double or Nothing, but now it's just Double or Nothing. Thank God they didn't do Dynamite, Collision, and Double or Nothing because
that was such a long week last year when they did that.
Yeah, because it's like, yo, you asking people who are wrestling fans who don't have just fucking dispensable income to stay in Vegas for 5 days during Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah, during a holiday weekend.
Come on, man. You only appealing to locals at this point because ain't no way I can afford, if I'm the average Joe, to stay in Vegas for 5 days for a wrestling show.
No.
That's crazy.
Yeah. No, that was bananas. So I'm glad that has changed. The match card, I mean, we got 10 matches. I think just 8 on the main card. It's an average length AEW card. I mean, one is going to be long as hell because Anarchy in the Arena is long as hell. But we can go down. It shouldn't be like too crazy. At this point, I also don't expect them to like whittle down the match cards. You show up, you're going to get a lot of wrestling and a lot of good wrestling.
You can get your money's worth.
Yeah, so we can't even complain anymore. Like this is how it goes. So we have try and go down this and find the beginning. Trent Beretta versus Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, I mean,
the turned on them. Yeah,
feud's been fun. This makes sense. It's good for an early match. I'm sure they're going to find a way to deliver. It was interesting to me about this match. One, I'm picking Trent to win. I feel like Trent needs a little bit more momentum right now.
Okay.
I'm surprised this wasn't a stipulation match. They've treated this like a blood feud.
Yeah.
And it's just a straight up wrestling match, which I'm a little surprised about.
It wouldn't surprise me then if he won and they kind of rolled it over because it seems like it has more oomph to it. But no, I think Orange Cassidy wins and then they move on because that's kind of what AEW does.
And again, if this felt like your WrestleMania, this would be the end of that story.
Yeah.
This is where you would fit, but you haven't identified that. So it's like, I'll probably just continue at some other fucking pay-per-view.
Yeah. And then Jon Moxley versus Takeshita.
This is a weird match. Because I'm like, damn, Moxley's not in Anarchy in the Arena? Don't feel right. Right? It doesn't feel right that Jon Moxley isn't in Anarchy in the Arena. It's like built for him.
Yeah. Just
But he's
lets
the IW.
Danielson get his ass beat. Nobody helped Danielson.
Yes, but he's the IWGP champion, which is kind of dope. On one hand, it's dope because boy, New Japan needs somebody like Moxley to sit on top of that company right now.
Yeah.
And the match with Takeshita will be good. Moxley's not winning this title. I mean, losing this title. I don't think.
It's
I
not
think
for the title.
Then what the fuck are we doing?
It is an eliminator match. If Takeshita wins, he receives a future championship match, which would probably be at Forbidden Door.
Nope, I don't care then. I think this is dumb. See,
he has to win to get his title shot.
The dumbest thing in the world to me is beating the champion to wrestle him again. I think it's the dumbest rule in wrestling.
Makes very little sense.
Yeah, so you're doing, again, your anniversary pay-per-view with the IWGP champion on the card in an eliminator match? Yeah. This should be for the title. Moxley might lose this match now.
Yeah, he's losing this match because he's not title.
This is dumb. All right.
Yeah, and they're going to run it back and Moxley will win. But if you have, whether it's getting to this at Forbidden Door or if this is your way to get Takeshita in Japan in front of those crowds, because, I mean, the guy looks the part. If New Japan had him right now, he'd be the champion.
Yeah.
Like, just straight up, he'd be a top 3 guy with their current roster. Yeah. So if you're doing this, New Japan might be like, let me heat check the kid. Like, we let you use a lot of talent. Like, you have a Japanese star on your roster. Like, let me get a match. So I would love to see him versus Moxley in Japan, even if he loses there. Like, it's a cool way to heat check him in front of that crowd, which is dangerous. That's dangerous. Because if that contract comes up and New Japan is just like, this guy is fucking money. I'm sorry, Tony, but if a bidding war ensues, you'd be like, yo, come home. What is he paying you? Come home.
Yeah. So, well, I don't know if New Japan can outbid Tony Khan at this point, but it's unnecessary money being spent.
Yeah. I mean, they'll drive the price up if that's the case.
At the very least.
How many people can you pay, Tony? Just call his bluff. Like, he could be our number 1 paid guy currently on their roster. They've lost Okada. The ace has transitioned to the head of the company business. Like, we're not really paying anyone else. If we had to pay this guy who speaks fluent Japanese, is a star in America, to come here and be our number 1, yeah, we'll pay him to be our highest paid person. He's going to be your 12th highest paid person at a high premium. So, you call that bluff. But, yeah, I think Takeshita wins this one. Then we have Timeless Tony Storm versus Serena Deeb. The character is still money. I can't get with, like, this feud's not doing anything for her. She's not going to lose the feud. It's another one to be like, can we get her a good wrestling match? And Serena Deeb can wrestle, but it doesn't do anything for me to make me care. I don't think she's going to lose. I don't think she's in any danger of losing.
No, this is one of those matches where I'm just waiting for the end of the match and who's coming out. Like, I've been asking this question for like several months. Where is Jamie Hayter? It feels like it's time. I don't know. I haven't checked on her injury status. I haven't asked around. Between her and Britt Baker, one of them are due back. Serena Deeb is not winning the title here, but we got to do something with Toni Storm because that character is way too over to not just have great matches with great opponents.
Mediocre. Yeah, like, people remember the character. I'm not sure people so far will remember the title run.
No, because I don't remember. Yeah. Like, what's her best match?
No. She's been doing the same shit with or without the belt.
Yeah.
It's changed nothing.
No, so she's been incredible. They just got to get her that match.
Something. And then Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay.
I don't think Ospreay's gonna win. The more that I think about this,
that's because you have him winning the belt later on in the summer.
I don't actually. If he was work Swerve, I think Swerve should go over. If you ask me right now, I would have Swerve beat Ospreay because then you cement Swerve as your guy, right? But I think the reason why Ospreay doesn't win here is this whole looming Don Callis story. He's still part of the Don Callis family. Yeah. And the Kingdom can't afford to just be completely wiped out, right? It hasn't been great, the Undisputed Kingdom. Still waiting for Adam Cole to come back. Roger Strong has this title. The Don Callis situation makes it murky because Ospreay's such a babyface and Callis is such a heel. They got to turn on Ospreay at some point.
Right.
I don't know if that necessarily means that Don Callis takes over, like the Callis family and the Kingdom merge together. I don't know what that means, but to me, it's like to have Ospreay win would just completely rip apart the Kingdom, and then now you got Ospreay with as a champion in the Don Callis family. It just all seems weird. We got to break them up sooner or later, and then we got to figure out what we're doing with Orange Cassidy in this shit too, because Callis has been following around Cassidy as well.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to figure out where this all goes, but to me, it's like something tells me that Ospreay's not winning this title.
It's a lot of shit around Don Callis. Like it's a ton. It makes it very confusing. I would love to say Ospreay would win this title, but I think he goes on and faces Swerve and beats Swerve. I don't think he needs this belt. This seems like the perfect spot for an Adam Cole return, baby.
It does.
And to get a pop of, it looks like Ospreay's about to win. Slow motherfucker just comes in the ring and super kicks the hell out of Ospreay. And Earl's like, oh my God. And then he pulls off the mask. It's the return of Adam Cole. They win. And then now you're teasing Cole versus Ospreay for some time in the summer. And that is a match.
Yeah, that's a great match.
That's a great match.
But I think that's the route you're gonna have to go. I just can't have Ospreay win this title.
No, it makes no sense to wrestle Roderick Strong just off the offshoot if it's not to set up Will Ospreay, not to disrespect Strong. It's gonna be a good match, and it's Ospreay, so it'll probably be 7 stars. But it makes no sense if it's not to set up a dream match, Ospreay and Adam Cole for Cole's return.
Yeah,
they make the pairing of them two and chasing this belt at all makes no sense if you're not going that route.
Right.
So
that's the way to go.
Yeah, I think that's the surprise, another surprise pop that we get. And they love the surprise pops at these. So Adam Copeland versus Malachi Black. The spot that made the entire wrestling community laugh. They went for the bloodbath, damn near missed. Malachi Black had to jump back into it. It led to a very unfortunate still shot where you cannot see the blood dropping from behind Malachi Black, but you can see it pouring out from under him. And it was quite unfortunate, but made the internet laugh a ton. And I get it. Malachi Black is looming and mysterious. So Edge wants to bring back Brood Edge for it. It'd be really cool if I didn't see this like a year and a half ago in WWE. Like if I missed it more, it'd be really cool.
Well, look, if Edge did CVV's show and mentioned why Gangrel didn't get used at WrestleMania.
Oh, Gangrel get used here.
You have to, right? Like,
but Christian's on the card, and you're just gonna ignore Christian. That sucks. Yeah, you do,
yeah,
but that sucks.
But the thing is, like, when Edge explained it on CVV's show, and I was like, man, that's fucked up. Because WWE was basically like, nobody knows who Gangrel is. Bullshit. We all knew, we were all disappointed when we didn't see him make that last entrance. And with Edge's incredible interest at that WrestleMania. But I kind of want Edge to lose the title here. Like the way that Malachi Black has been moving.
Yeah.
I don't know if he has the charisma to really carry the TNT title on his own. I think they could establish him as like the guy, because he's always had it, right? But is he the guy to beat Edge? And where do you go from here after you if he were to beat Edge? I'm trying to figure out where you go from here, because we know it gives you great matches.
Yeah. Kyle O'Reilly match was really good.
Yeah. It just feels like Edge will probably retain.
I think so.
Like, yeah, he'll probably retain.
I think Malachi Black is gone.
You think he's gone?
I think he's on his way back.
I don't think so.
I think through and through, now that Hunter's there, I think he's going back. I think it was like Andrade wrestled in the pay-per-view right before he left. Andrade lost and he was gone the next 2 weeks. He was out. Like I feel like, and it's shitty because I know Buddy's still there, Buddy Murphy, and the crew is still really, really good, and they're all not going to go. I think he's gone.
I don't have a place for him in WWE right now.
I don't got a place for him here. You just said I can't see him with the TNT title, and that's a mid-level title. Like, what are we doing?
Well, the thing is I think if Malachi were to win, I think there's a way they could really build that title around him. But they've been on and off with House of Black. And if I'm Malachi and I look at going back to WWE, there's a challenge in WWE right now. It's like kind of established their pecking order. Because even Andrade is like there, but he ain't really doing anything. He's just kind of there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know if it's a benefit to leave from a financial perspective. I'm making good money here. I don't have to work a bunch of house shows. And maybe I win the title, maybe I don't. Or I go back to WWE, do a bunch of house shows, and then have no idea where I'm going to be placed on the card.
Yeah.
So as a business decision, it might be good for him to stay in AEW. But I think AEW needs to book him. I don't want to say better. I just want to see him.
I think this is his third singles match in the past year and a half.
That's what I like. The House of Black has been great, but we need to establish Malachi as a singles talent with a crew behind him that will fuck you up.
Yeah.
Right?
Should have been that from jump. Like, it's okay. They had a great trios run. But as soon as that was done, like, there's enough belts for them all to kind of go off and chase something.
Yeah, and it's there's to me, there's never anything wrong with having, this is clearly the leader of this group, and this is his muscle. The Wyatt family was the same way. Brody and Buddy could be a tag team and really do some damage. And Malachi could be the TNT champion, but you got to prop him up as a singles guy. Maybe it starts here. I don't think so, but it should start here. Edge is good. Edge doesn't need to do nothing else for the rest of his life.
No.
Right? Like, he's cemented. Malachi needs this right now because he's the guy that we all look at and is like, well, he's definitely talented.
Yep.
He was definitely, him leaving WWE sucked because we all thought very highly of him as Aleister Black in NXT, completely misused on the main roster. He should get a run with something. TNT title would be perfect for him.
Someone posted a poster of 2018 NXT roster. They didn't say what month, but Gargano, Ciampa, Adam Cole, the entire Undisputed Era, Malachi Black, Swerve, they're all on this poster.
Yeah.
Bronson Reed, tons of people on this poster. And I'm looking and I'm like, yo, it's crazy because in the third row up, far right, it was Damian Priest. I was like, in 2018, if you showed me this roster and say, 5 years, 6 years from now, this guy over here on the right is going to be holding the heavyweight championship of the world. And half of these guys down here are going to be gone. And if I'm them, like, in hindsight's everything. And they had to get out when they did because Vince really sucked, especially on the main roster.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, it's just like, bro, I was in that locker room with him. I could have done that shit. like what? He's doing a creepy entrance. I could have done a creepy entrance. Like, there's no different, like, as great as Damian Priest is, and I support everyone Puerto Rican, everyone. But Judgment Day with Malachi Black leading that instead of him is entirely different level of a crew.
It would have been. It's due to timing, mistakes.
Yeah, it's just time. But that shit was tailor made for someone like Malachi Black.
Oh yeah, with the entrance coming out of the coffin.
Oh my God, you could have thrown Buddy in that shit with Rhea, with Dom, and I don't even know if you need Finn at that point, but with Finn, and that shit would have went to the moon.
Yeah.
So it was like he just missed the wave.
Yep.
So it's one of those things, though. It's like, yo, he's really that good. Push him. Like, if you don't want him to walk, give him the belt. So I'm picking him. Give him the belt. It's time to see what he can do. Sink or swim. At this point, I don't want to say he cooled him off, but you haven't elevated him or heated him up. He's the exact same as when you got him. Let's see.
You got to use him. You got to use him. I want him to win. I think they're going to stick with Edge, but I want Malachi Black to win this match.
Yeah, I do too. And then we getting popcorn or something. I ain't gonna lie to you. We gonna eat during this match. Chris Jericho versus Hook versus Shibata, and I know you love Shibata. the
I do, but
FTW championship. It's just not a real belt.
well, yeah, it's not a real belt. It's Taz's belt,
Hmm?
which makes it Hook's belt. And this Jericho learning tree is like, at one point, the iterations of Jericho were really clever.
Yep.
Now it feels desperate. Now it feels like, how do I stay relevant? Oh, I'm going to create this learning tree angle. And I don't give a shit about this. Hook deserves better. Shibata deserves better. Jericho, like, it's time for Jericho to take a step back.
Yep.
He has to. I don't need him at every pay-per-view. I don't need him holding a for the world championship, as he calls it now. It reeks of desperation, and it reeks of, all right, I've been able to do this. It reeks of a rapper on like his 10th album has ran out of shit to say. Right? And he's like, let's try to play the hits. And bro, you're not the same guy anymore. And I don't need this taking up space. I love Shibata. But if you give me Shibata versus Malachi Black or Shibata versus somebody in a violent ass match, I'd rather have that than to watch Jericho try the lion salt and barely get off the ground. And then Hook have to kind of navigate through Jericho's athletic limitations. Because Hook versus Shibata could be a really good match.
Oh, yeah.
Please get this title off of Jericho. But they're not. He's going to hold on to this shit for whatever reason.
Hook should win.
He
Shibata doesn't need the win.
No.
Shibata, to me, here is just kind of here to take on Big Bill.
I don't even know why he's in this match. Like, this is Hook and Jericho's feud.
Yeah, like I don't know why he was thrown in here. I mean,
this almost would have been better off as a tag.
Yeah, he's literally here just for Big Bill to interfere and him to fuck up Big Bill for a long enough time for a Hook to win.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah.
That's his only purpose. So I think Hook wins. But with Jericho, sooner or later they have to listen. And I understand he's a legend. Yes, he did a lot for this company to start his company. But you got to listen to your fans. Again, the fans book shit, right? Like the fans determine where people fall on a card. He's been over. They chanted his song, all this shit. It's died down. That report came out that he like did something, and then they put him on the pay-per-view right after that anyway, and just ignored it. And it hasn't been the same since.
Yep.
And they're just forcing him now, and he's forcing it. Just like, yo, just do a reset. Because he might got one more gun in him.
He might.
But the longer you drag this out, the less of a chance that has. So, yeah, he might have to go. And then Bullet Club Gold, which wasn't Jay White's best promo this week. Usually he's money.
No, it was. Yeah,
usually he's money. Yeah.
It was off this week.
You know why? Because no one cares about this damn feud. Because they built it in 2 weeks. Not that it's a bad feud. It's just because they didn't put anything behind it. Jay White and the Guns, which I now like the Guns. The entrance is going to be good. Bullet Club Gold versus the return of Death Triangle should have felt big.
Yeah.
This match is going to go crazy. And the crowd was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
This was another one where it's like the whole Pac and Jay White thing. I was like, all right, where are we going with this? To a singles match? All right. But then you brought back Death Triangle, and I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit. It's like 3 days before the pay-per-view. And you're adding this match, which is, I guess, for the trios titles.
Yep.
Like, this is a match that you could have brought Death Triangle back. Well, you could have teased your way into this during Dynasty. Like, spend more time with this.
Yeah.
Like, I know that there's people, like, depending on which side of the fence you're on with Bullet Club Gold, you feel like Jay White should have a bigger push as a single star. I agree. Yeah. However, it's a very crowded scene right now, so I'm totally fine with him being with the Guns and doing this. And then we have the imminent return of Juice Robinson, which makes this all more fun, right? But
definitely fun for you. Fun for you.
Hell yeah. A Death Triangle feud with the Bullet Club Gold should feel significant. And it feels like, we'll just throw it all in the match.
Yep.
And it's good. And like you said, this match is going to go crazy. Ray Phoenix and Penta don't disappoint.
No.
Pac's going to do some wild shit, and Jay White can go. And the Guns have proven over time that they are good.
Yep.
They are good. They look the part. They wrestle the part. They've got like the mannerisms of being heels down. They've done everything right. This match is just kind of on the card, and it'll go crazy. But the lack of build kind of hurts it.
Definitely. And then 3 more.
Oh wait,
matches.
I didn't pick a winner.
Oh,
Bullet Club Gold retains.
Okay, we disagree. Death Triangle, I think, wins because I think Jay White gets pushed into a single scene.
I hope so, but
yeah,
I don't know.
They've cooled him down too much. He's a guy they've cooled down since he came.
Yeah.
Maybe Ospreay hurt too. Like Jay White was the shit as a signing. It was like, oh well, we got Will Ospreay. And I was like, all right. But don't sleep on Jay White though. I mean,
no, he's good.
And then Willow Nightingale versus Mercedes Moné.
I wouldn't be surprised.
No more talking, man.
I thought their promo last week, when Willow put Mercedes through the table.
Yes,
their best work. Like that was the best use of Mercedes. You want to know why it was the best use of Mercedes? Because she played a heel.
Yeah.
She did not play a baby face. She did not play an arrogant baby face. She straight up played a heel. And Willow had an edge. And that made that promo really good. That contract signing was really good. I walked out with the champion. You didn't even walk out. That was some damn good stuff. I'm sticking to my prediction. Stokely is turning on Willow. And I don't want to see Willow lose this title because I think she's so good. But if Stokely turns on Willow and is Mercedes' mouthpiece, makes all the sense in the world. If that doesn't happen, then Willow should retain. But one way or another, Mercedes on this night has to fully establish herself as a heel. The fucking new car scent is over. She's best used as a heel. She cannot be a babyface in this company. It is hurting her. It is hurting the company. Make her a heel and make her a fucking dastardly heel. Yeah. Make her cheat. Make her make kids cry all over again. We need that Mercedes. I don't need the CEO. I don't need fucking change your music. I don't need people chanting that shit. I need the Mercedes. I need the Sasha Banks from NXT that made the little girl cry. I need that version of Mercedes in this company. And if she wins the title with Stokely's help, I'm good. But if Stokely doesn't help her, I don't want it. I don't want Willow to lose. I love Willow too much.
No, Willow's incredible. She got to lose. Sorry, Willow. You got to lose. Yeah. It's all right. You've had a run. I love it. Put her back into a different title scene. I don't know. Keep her on TV. She's too good. But no, this belt is for Mercedes. She's going to get a run with it. I think her as a heel, it's hard for anyone to come back from injury and be a heel in AEW. So her versus a face, Britt Baker, if Britt is healthy, would be an interesting feud. They need to give her another good feud after this.
Yeah.
I need to see her just continue the momentum. And that would be a great feud going into this. And then we have Swerve, the return of Prince Nana.
That was really well done.
Oh my God.
Him cutting off Christian and drinking the coffee. That was good.
That's the best part of the whole Dynamite.
Yeah. That was really good.
You mentioned it earlier. They haven't given them a ton of time to build this in 4 weeks. They've maximized this time, though.
They have. I think they've done a good job with what the time limitations. And I think Christian, Nick Wayne, I think they've done a good job. I just wish we had more time to build this. Is all I've been asking. Because you shoved a lot into 4 weeks. Mogul Embassy turns on Swerve. Everybody's turning on Swerve to fully establish him as a babyface. Christian's the heel. But in this little attack moment, and Christian's trying to leave, gets in his car, Nana cuts him off because Nana got beat up. What was that, 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
This was well done. Like I said, Swerve ain't losing this title. I wouldn't be surprised if this is not even the co-main event. I wouldn't be surprised if Willow and Mercedes is the co-main event, and Anarchy in the Arena is the main event, or you flip them and Willow and Mercedes ends up being the main event of this card. I would not be surprised. This doesn't feel like the main event.
No. Anarchy in the Arena probably ends this.
It's just weird because
the EVPs.
My problem is, well, then what? Which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah. So I'm going to go with Swerve retaining, of course. There's a lot of moving pieces in ways Christian can cheat, but I think Swerve's going to pull it out against all odds, and that's good for babyface Swerve.
Yeah.
And then we'll just see if this builds and continues, or do they pivot him into another feud right away? Because it's hard to pivot after 4 weeks. Like, everyone's turned on me. You hired my own crew to beat me down. I feel like one win isn't enough. Like, I feel like I need to beat your ass a little more, but I don't know. But I'm picking Swerve. And then last but not least, the Elite. EVPs, Okada, Jack Perry, the Bucks versus Team AEW. I hate that this is what they're called. Bryan Danielson, FTR, and Tony Khan's hired hand. The beef is squashed. Darby Allin is back.
All right. So I don't like this is called Team AEW. This is very reminiscent of the NWO. And then the WCW just throwing people together to try to beat the NWO and just getting fucked up every week, right? And I don't know what the stakes are in this match. That's my biggest issue with this match. What are the stakes? Danielson doesn't need this. FTR doesn't need this. They've already lost, right? FTR's already lost to the Bucks. Darby's back because Kingston got hurt.
Yeah.
What
he just shows up with a flamethrower.
Yeah. What does Team AEW get out of this if they win? Nothing. So there's no reason for me to believe that the Elite aren't going to win. They're going to win.
Yeah.
The only thing that I think I said this month is I know. Am I supposed to say this? I think everybody knows this by now. Heyman's on paternity leave. Had a kid.
Hey. Muzzle.
That's why we haven't seen him. If there's a good time to bring him back, it's now. To help the Elite get over and win this match. Because Anarchy in the ring. Ain't no fucking rules. So if you add Hangman to this crew becomes much more dominant, much more deadly, much more lethal. And Team AEW is nothing. There are no stakes for them to win this match.
No.
This match, unfortunately, Kenny Omega should have been in this match, but he can't because he's got diverticulitis. This is his feud, and a bunch of people working his feud for him. So, yeah, the EVPs win. Jack Perry, who's actually done really good work since returning.
Yeah.
This will be a hard-fought, bloody match. It'll hit all the right notes. But yeah, Team AEW is going to get crushed. Darby probably eats the pin. Maybe establishes a feud with Jack Perry and Darby down the line, which will be great. FTR gets beat up. Danielson, he don't care. He's just enjoying life right now. He's in matches and just trying to win shit. He don't give a fuck. He's not trying to win shit. He's just trying to have good matches. So him being involved in this match, he doesn't care. EVPs need to win this. I'd love to see Hangman come back, further cement the Elite, and then maybe, I don't know, somebody got to come back and challenge these dudes. That's my question. What is the then what after this match with the EVPs? Who challenges for the tag team titles? I don't know. Like, who is the next tag team up? I don't have an answer for you.
I mean, there's plenty of them.
Yeah, but nobody's done anything.
No. And wins and losses matter again, but it's still like,
who's the hot tag team? Just who?
No one's on fire.
No, there's nobody on fire from that end.
No.
Who's challenging? Like, Jack Perry and Darby Allin feels like the natural feud to fall out of this match. And then with Okada, who the fuck's wrestling Okada? We got to establish somebody for him to work coming out of this.
It won't be Danielson.
No, because we've done that enough already. So who is that guy? I don't know. So that's my reason why I don't think Anarchy in the Arena will main event, is because there's really nothing to them winning except they won. There's no like, ta-da, we're doing, like, there's no stakes.
It could be the honor of AEW is saved.
Nah, but Team AEW can't win. There's no reason for them to win this match. Like, zero. They're going to get beat up, and the Elite will win, and it'll be fun to watch. That's it.
That's it. Yeah, I don't understand what other stakes there are. To Tony, I don't know. The man was in a neck brace on the NFL draft. He's out for revenge and blood. But going forward, it doesn't have that many stakes. So, the EVPs will win because other team doesn't need it. They really don't. And it's just maybe it's Okada versus Swerve then.
Okada's got a title.
Everybody got a title.
I know, but that's my problem. That's my problem with this match is like I can't figure out where we're going out of this. And at some point, Tony Khan has to reemerge and be like, I got to get my revenge. Y'all fuck me up, right? Like he has to do that.
Yeah.
And either it's like the return of like Kenny Omega. It can't be a new signing because I don't know who it would be. Who hasn't been on television in a while that we could jump in and be like, I'm gonna fuck y'all up? I don't know who that person is.
Now
Can't think
you
of who it
already
is.
mentioned Hangman. Miro doesn't really fit this
No,
category of a
Kingston's
feud.
out. The only
Kingston's
person,
out.
like, we
MJF.
know
If
he's got
MJF
to
came
deal with
back,
Adam Cole, but he's got to deal with it. Like, this doesn't make any sense. He would have to go straight for Adam Cole.
yeah. But then Adam
So
Cole will have to come back. It's a lot of moving
there's
parts.
a lot of things going on here. So yeah. That being said, I think it would still be a really fun match. I just don't know where we're going after this.
Yeah, no clue. We'll figure it out though. And then I guess before we get the hell out of here, real quick, WWE King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia coming up this weekend. It's crack of dawn on Saturday out here on the West Coast. I've actually enjoyed the tournament this year. I think it
The
gave us
Lyra
some good
Valkyrie
matches.
and Io Sky Lyra was a banger. I was
Went
like, oh my God,
crazy,
these girls were
crazy.
going.
They
But
gave
all
him
right.
20 minutes, put on a banger, and EO lost.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
I was like, okay. Nia Jax versus Bianca, which culminates this weekend. I don't think
Bianca,
Bianca needs it.
where does Jade fit into this?
Jade already lost. They're
By
gonna
disqualification.
yeah, they're gonna continue as tag team champions
Does she cost Bianca?
and get Bianca disqualified.
Yep.
That's some friction. No, because then it's too early to start that.
I know, but you do
So you're
like
forcing the SummerSlam match pretty much between these two. The only
no.
reason you do that, and dirt sheet rumors and shit aside, I don't know. I don't get into people's personal lives. But the only reason you do that is if for some reason Bianca did come to the powers that be and say, I am actively trying to have a baby. Like I want to be a mom. I can't promise you I'm gonna be here for Mania next year.
That's the
Like
only
we're
reason.
trying. And then you say, well, holding the trigger at SummerSlam, because we might not get you back for another SummerSlam,
Yeah.
which
I
was
mean,
just announced in Minneapolis
no,
tonight.
that's 2026.
What's 2025 then?
Well, they haven't announced it.
Oh, damn, they don't even get it next year?
No, no.
Oh, that's dirty. Okay.
Yeah, they was like, hey, y'all don't get WrestleMania this year. Y'all get SummerSlam the
Nothing.
year after in two
Damn.
nights. Yeah.
But yeah, 2 nights. But yeah, it's one of those things where that's the only reason I see that happening. And you fast tracking this because they're way too good together for right now. I just
Well,
feel like Nia does something to cheat and win.
I think they had to they obviously had to get Jade out of this tournament because it's too early for them to meet. But I think even if Jade like accidentally calls her and doesn't lead to immediate breakup, it leads to, hey, we're on the same team here. Like, I understand why you did it, but let's work through these issues. And then they have issues as a tag team. Because the only way they're going to lose the tag titles is by a mistake. Nobody's better than them,
No.
right? Nobody on paper looks like they can beat them. They have to beat themselves. And somehow you got to start establishing that. That's the only reason why I can see Nia winning this tournament. And then, I don't know, I guess you go back and challenge Becky at SummerSlam. Because I don't think they've ever really finished that feud.
No. They kind of just like put a
They like
kibosh.
moved.
Yeah.
Because then Rhea got hurt, and it's like, all right, well, if we're gonna do something, because you can't do Bianca and Becky again. You can't. There's no reason to.
Lyra and Becky, because Lyra beat her.
Oh, you could do that. You could do that.
Yeah, Lyra beat her for the NXT title when Becky came down and was champion.
You
and
can absolutely do that.
They had that feud. So they have that history. And you have to inform people and tell them about that recent NXT history. And Becky lost last time. So it's one of those where Becky can win at SummerSlam and get that get back.
Yeah.
On a bigger stage. But Lyra get kind of
that could be the way to go. I'll go with you on that one. I think Lyra Valkyrie might be the one because her and Becky have been playing buddy the whole time.
Yeah.
And it's still hard to do a babyface versus babyface match, but it might still be the route to go.
Yeah, I think they're 1-1. Becky beat her the first time. Lyra beat her for the title, and then now they're 1-1. Like, you just really got to tell that story. And it gives Becky a way to win where people are just like, all right, and keep the belt a little longer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Nia wins. Because again, Bianca going and losing in the finals is just tough for me to wrap my head around.
No, Bianca can't lose clean. That's the problem with Bianca right
and
now?
Nia can cheat. Unless Bianca could beat Nia be pissed, and then cost her at the end of the Lyra match.
She
and
could.
Then
I believe anything that involves Nia is going to involve Jade. That's not over. I think going back to what I said last year, Jade versus Nia is the feud. Was for WrestleMania, now it's for SummerSlam. That is your match for SummerSlam. Those two need to work each other.
Yeah.
So however we got to get there, we're going to get there. Bianca doesn't need any of this. She's just kind of collateral damage. And hey, we got to have Jade do her own thing at some point in a singles match.
100%. And then in the men's tournament, Gunther's been just running
Gunther. I don't care. And fuck everybody else. I don't
by
know
sub all the way through. He said, fuck my other finishers. Submitting, just choking people out.
The problem with this is once Gunther wins, in my head, I'm like, don't have him lose to Cody. But if he had to wrestle Damian Priest, he beats Priest. There's no way in hell you can convince me otherwise. Like, not in my head. You can't give me a world where you say Damian Priest wins, and I'm like, I'm cool with that. Nope. He's got to get the title off of Priest. Yeah. So Gunther's winning this fucking tournament. King of the Ring Gunther? The ring is sacred, and he's got a fucking cape or whatever the fuck you want to give him? Problem.
He's not even go full cape. Like, he's going to go business suit.
Whatever he does, I don't
crown.
Care. This tournament is built for him to win. That's it.
Yeah, Gunther's going to win that. And then great matches, by the way. Ilya Dragunov versus Jey Uso. Jey Uso's best match so far. And then I thought his match with Gunther was pretty good. For the other people, and rightfully so, who said he sucked in ring, even though he's over to the moon.
No. Jay's good.
Yeah, like, he's doing all right. I do wish Jimmy comes back and then they could both do the entrance and be over, but it's cool. And then Tama Tonga versus Randy Orton. Tama's going to lose this somehow because it's going to be Randy Orton versus Gunther. And that's going to be a match.
That's the route we're going to go.
So I'm penciling in Randy Orton versus Gunther. What would be your pick there?
I mean, it's Gunther. Gunther's winning this tournament.
Okay. Is he subbing Randy?
No, he's just pinning him.
Okay. It's been subbed the entire way down. I don't know the last time Randy Orton submitted or was passed out.
Well, this is what I was about to say. If you submit Randy Orton, just put the title on Gunther that night. Because
that's it.
If you tap Randy, you are the champ, right? Like, you just don't do that to that. It's like tapping out John Cena. Once you do that, fuck it, you're the man. So I think he'll pin him to at least cast a little doubt on him winning the title. But no, it'll be a great match. I just think Gunther he's just that dude. I've been saying this since the day he showed up in NXT. He's that dude.
And they're booking him like it. They lost Lesnar. I was like, fuck it. We got this guy. Yeah. We got this guy. And all right, so we have that. We talked about the women's side. Becky Lynch versus Liv Morgan.
Come on, we know Becky ain't losing.
Becky's going to win, but this is going to be some weird. They're doing a lot with the teases with Judgment Day and Liv Morgan, like, randomly being in the back with Dom and then being in the back with Finn and getting out of a car. There's a lot of shit going on, and Liv is trying to dismantle the whole thing from the inside. So I think that comes into play here. So
we're just waiting for Rhea to come back and beat the bullshit out of Liv Morgan for taking Dom. Because
100%.
when Rhea comes back, like, she was already a babyface, but you want to talk about a next level babyface when she returns and you establish like Dom has been cheating. Yes. Yeah. Come on, we got heat here. So Liv doesn't need to win the title at all.
Some backstage footage and shit.
I mean, there could be a scenario where Liv does win. It's just really hard for her to be believable as a champion for a long period of time. But no, Becky will win here.
I agree. And then we have Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed, which I don't know why he needs to be in.
All I know is that Bronson Reed acknowledged Malcolm X as one of the greatest diss records ever, and I was like, okay, that's my guy. Yeah. As soon as he said that, I was like, all right, this guy who knows Royce 5'9" is holy shit.
Me too. I was like, in Australia? Like, you were bumping this shit in Australia.
He's a babyface now.
That's him and Baron Corbin. Forever baby faces for two different reasons. If you haven't watched Corbin make a steak, If you boo that man after seeing this motherfucker make a dry aged steak, I can't trust you as a human.
But Sammy can't lose this title. Sammy has to work Gable in a singles match.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's the only route to go. And I don't know when they're gonna do it, but what needs to be done, the Alpha Academy has to be sick of Gable, turn on Gable, and then the Creed brothers join Gable. That's
It's coming.
the only way to travel. And then that's when we get to Gable versus Zayn. Like we have to build through that because once Gable gets the Creed brothers, the Creed brothers got to get them titles. Yep. Heel Creed brothers with Chad Gable, fuck. It is the world's greatest tag team at Kurt Angle all over again.
Yep. The crowd doing the "You Suck" to Gable's music. Perfect.
Dude, Gable's been one of the best and most underutilized talents on the roster. He ain't going to win here because he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Right? But we're going to start building to this version of Chad Gable. He's going to get that title off of Sammy, probably at SummerSlam.
I agree. He's just so fucking good.
He is.
And they're figuring it out and recognizing it.
Yeah, and they have to him winning the title would be like their apology for Shorty G. Hey guys, we fucked up, right?
We're just playing. That was that other guy. We're just playing.
Here you go.
Yeah, no, it's so good. And then Cody Rhodes versus Logan Paul.
We know Cody's winning, and we know that this is just what Saudi wants. We know they was like, hey, just get 2 big stars on the card. Logan's going to try to show his ass and have a great match. It is going to be interesting because I don't think Logan can surprise us anymore. Like the match with Roman Reigns, we were like, wow, this is amazing. The match at WrestleMania, like, wow, this is amazing. Now that's gone. He just has to have a good match now. And I think he'll be fine. But there's no way Cody's losing this match. Like, come on. What are we doing?
Yeah, no. Come on. He's in it. I think they have to find a way after this because it should be a clean finish.
Yeah.
But here or the following SmackDown, you gotta give me his next opponent.
Yep.
Because we're coming through the summer and there's no viable opponent.
Yep.
Like if it is going to be Gunther and he won King of the Ring earlier in the night and he comes and he stares down Cody, then we're in for some shit.
Yeah.
Because Cody's gonna drop this belt.
we got several months to get to that SummerSlam. And
Gunther's gonna be stalking his ass. Yeah.
Yeah. So that may be the route to go. Yeah.
What if Gunther wins Money in the Bank and King of the Ring?
What
if Cody beats him? Yeah. What if
takes
Cody,
all the titles?
No, but what if Cody like beats him at SummerSlam? He gets the fuck up, beats up Cody, and just cashes in. Like right afterwards. Like, yo, you ain't getting out of here. You ain't gonna get me that easy. Just give him
everything. They ain't gonna go that route. It'd be funny, but they ain't gonna go that route.
Give him everything, Dre. Everything. Yeah. No, but yeah, we'll see. I don't know where Cody goes after this, but hopefully they shed some light on that. So tons of wrestling this weekend. I know you're traveling next week. Producer Cole Baby is flying to Vegas for AEW. So maybe Cole joins us next week if you have time or some crazy shit happens. Then we got to talk wrestling first. But if not, we'll probably have you around for the boxing MMA shows next week, which is cool because it is pay-per-view time and you will be there. So everyone, thank you guys. Thank you for listening. Promised a good ass wrestling episode and we delivered. If I say so myself, follow us wherever you guys do on social media. Tell everyone if you're listening to this, like and subscribe. YouTube, wherever. Man, it helps so much. Apple Music, Spotify, all of that helps. Write us a review as well. Sign up for the Patreon if you're not there yet. Corner Club episode number 2 coming next week. Till next time, for myself, the old man Andreas Hale, we're out.
Peace.